I welcome you once again to the series. Genesis chapter 30 verse 27 is our text for reflection. Laban in this text was very categorical in telling Jacob, and I quote, "I have become wealthy, for the Lord has blessed me because of you," unquote. The theme is the means to prosperity. My aim is to use this verse to emphasize how God's blessing can descend upon us through people we least expect, and how to create the right environment. Oftentimes, parents invest so much into their children with the hope that the children might grow to also take care of them. In the process of doing this, some lose sight of the works of charity towards others. In other words, in our scheme of things, we labor for our children so that through them, our future may be secured. This way of thinking may not be wrong, but can at times limit our blessings. The mysteries of life reveal that sometimes, after all the toils, our children may not be the source of the blessing or the prosperity we seek. From the biblical story, Laban has only been helpful to the sister who needed his support for the son Jacob. Laban, though had his own children, welcomed the nephew Jacob into his home. It must be emphasized that Laban did not need Jacob. However, he was hospitable to him by creating an enabling environment for him to live and work. The question is whether we are able to expand our support to other family members who may not necessarily be our children, or people outside of the family circle. That stepchild, for instance, that cousin, that nephew or that niece who needs our support, what is usually the response? That Jacob who is in need of shelter, must we not create a home for him? That Jacob who needs employment, are we resolute in finding him a job? Does the domestic worker feel at home? Do we know the blessing that the person we consider not to be our child may bring into our home? Amazingly, it is on the account of Jacob that Laban became wealthy. No wonder he himself said that the Lord has blessed him because of Jacob. The beautiful truth is that that nephew or that niece, that stepchild we support today, can become the medical doctor or the lawyer who may save our life tomorrow. The prayer of that needy person we help today can prosper us tomorrow. The hard work of that person we help today can prosper our business tomorrow. When, for instance, we are very busy, the love and care shown to our children by that domestic worker can help lay a foundation for a good future for the children. The future success story of the person we help today may be the only chorus that may be sung in our old age. That is why it's important that we don't limit our blessing by focusing only on our children. Another example worth recalling is the Naaman story. His prosperity in terms of health came because of the presence of the Jewish slave girl. Now, what should strike us is, why will a slave girl take interest in the welfare of her master? Why will a slave girl take delight in the healing of her master, to the extent that she makes a suggestion that her master goes to see a prophet? And surprisingly, the master, who was an army commander, listens and goes. It was definitely the kind of environment that Naaman and the wife had created. It was an environment that was welcoming. The atmosphere that made the slave feel part of the family. The atmosphere where the voice of even the slave was heard. The atmosphere where the slave was not abused and was not maltreated. It was an environment where the slave felt loved. When this environment is created, whatever blessing everyone is carrying comes upon the managers of the family. Have you not heard the stories of people who owe their university education or job placement opportunities to an uncle or an auntie or someone even outside the family circle, and how they feel obliged to always thank God for them, or they feel obliged to do something special to show appreciation? For some of us, our prosperity or our blessing may not come from our children. It may come from people we do not expect or we least expect. And that is why we must not limit our investment. Whenever the opportunity to help someone in need arises, we must try and respond positively, because we may through that help be sowing the seed that may lead to a bountiful harvest. To conclude, Laban acknowledged that God has blessed him with wealth on account of Jacob. How does this influence our relationship with others, especially our subordinates? How do we relate with our domestic staff or the people who may not be our children? What kind of environment do we create at home? Is it the type that promotes respect for all or promotes disrespect? Do we treat our subordinates well, and we ensure that our children do not disrespect the domestic workers? Once the environment is enabling, God's blessing will flow. My prayer is that, like Laban, may the Lord prosper us as we help to make the world a better place for those we meet and those who are in need. The letter to the Hebrews chapter 13 verse 2 says, and I quote, "Do not forget to show hospitality to strangers, for some who have done this have entertained angels without realizing it." May God bless you.